All an exciting day for our football program. Can't say enough about the work on campus, our staff and our community has put in to solidify the future and the right people to bring to the UMD football program and in our campus. So an exciting day. Certainly feel good about addressing our future needs and some immediate needs as well in this class with the 29 young men that we're going to sign or that we signed today.
What are some of the immediate needs? Who among these 29 do you think maybe could see the field this fall?
Yeah, sometimes that's a tough question. Every one of these guys, our plan is to get them ready to go as early as we can. I think maybe, in the defensive secondary is a spot where we may take a look at a guy playing early on, as well as Chase Sullivan at kicker. Both those spots are probably needs that we may address early with this class, and potentially at the tailback position. That's another spot right now that we know going into next year we're going to be young at, and if you're going to be young, the best kids got to play. So those are probably three spots that are positions of need right now. And certainly our offensive line to sign 6 guys in this class. All 6 of those guys are plan is to probably redshirt those guys and make sure they can develop over the next couple of years.
Curt, looks like you went pretty heavy on defense. Is that a focus moving forward here to give John a little bit more to work with?
Well, I don't know if it's a focus in this class. It's probably a focus in every class to make sure that when we're recruiting these guys, for the majority of these guys, we're looking 1 to 2 years out for these guys to develop and play for us. So really, you're looking at your junior class and your senior class when you sign the young men that we do, and sometimes certain classes will develop based on the availability of recruits. And this year, I think we had another good crop of defensive linemen and secondary guys and offensive linemen in the 3-state area. So sometimes those are the areas that you need to target just based on the fact that there's a lot of talent in those positions.
Tell us a little about Tyler Keach from Two Harbors. He's one of the local kids. What does he bring to the table?
Yeah, Tyler Keach is the guy that caught our eye in team camp, and we didn't know a ton about him heading into June, and we found out real quick that a guy that's 6'5" and as big as Tyler is, that he has a lot of opportunity and potential at the defensive line position. So excited to have him part of our football program. I think Tyler will develop into a very good college football player, but it's really young in that position right now. So I know he's every one of these guys is a potential guy, but you look at Tyler physically and athletically right now, he's a guy that, maybe 1 to 2 years down the road could put on 25 to 30 pounds and be very good at this level.
Pretty much keeping the tradition of all Minnesota and Wisconsin kids. Can you just speak on why that's important to keep the local crowd coming here?
Yeah, a couple things. I think, number one, we want to make sure we're taking care of our backyard. And, Wisconsin, Minnesota recruits have been very good to us. We know the coaches, we know the staffs. We feel very comfortable working camps in this area and getting to know the kids. We have gotten into Illinois a little bit, and I think those are the 3 areas that we will always and need to continue to concentrate on. And part of that is we want to make sure we're bringing the right chemistry into our locker room. And if we can trust the high school coaches and our evaluation of these kids through April and June and July through camps, that's going to always be our number one, is making sure we're bringing the right kids. And again, we feel we're bringing the right personalities at campus as well as athletics.
I feel like you guys are pretty solid at more weapon type positions like QB and running back. Have you got any recruited 1 QB and 2 running backs?
We're hoping as we head into next year that we're solid at every position, but I do think that this class will give us probably some depth and opportunity to compete and some competition early on in their careers. So, we feel good with all of our upperclassmen, the guys that are in the weight room right now, heading into next fall, but excited to see these guys push those upperclassmen. I think it's our job as a staff to out-recruit the next class every year and to make sure that athletically and physically we are getting better as a football program. And again, I think our last couple classes have been very talented, and this class we feel, as good, if not better, about moving forward. And as we all know, as Zach stated a little bit earlier, this is probably about a year and a half before we find out how talented this class really is. But certainly we're excited today about these guys and about their potential.
Not going to be this class that necessarily has to deal with it, or the
majority of them, but it might not be the biggest senior class, but you graduated an important senior class. Feel about maybe the couple players from this class and everybody else about replacing the guys that you lost from this fall?
Well, you can always replace football players. It's tough to replace the leadership and the character, and I think our staff and our campus has done a really good job evaluating these guys before we even make them a scholarship offer, maybe sometimes even before bringing them to campus, to make sure we're recruiting the right characters. And we feel good about the character of this group coming in. Again, just as much as we do, we feel good about them athletically and as students. So, you know, as you transform from college or from high school into the college level, there's opportunity to become a leader and become probably a little bit more mature football and player in person as you develop. And that's our job as coaches, is to develop these guys personally throughout their career. Just as important as it is athletically and physically.
So on the recruiting trail this year, for example, was there a position that's a little bit more of a challenge because there's as much talent compared to other positions when you're out there?
Well, I think every year it's for whatever reason, it's cyclical. You know, you look at our last couple of years recruiting classes just for offensive linemen has been a little bit smaller, and that's because there maybe weren't as big a talent. So we got the kids that we thought could play for us. You know, this year we thought there was a really good group of offensive linemen at the Division II level in Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Illinois, and we targeted a little bit bigger class there. So sometimes it's out of necessity, sometimes it's just out of the talent pool. So you know, the talent in the recruiting process here continues. The cycle moves up a little bit every year. So you know, we have the majority of these kids on campus in summer, back for Military Appreciation Day, and on campus, and again feel really good about the group that we brought in to address our future needs.
Well, conversely, was there a position that was really ultra competitive because there wasn't a lot of talent out there?
Well, I think every position, you know, the way that recruiting has gone with social media and the internet and camps, every position is becoming more and more competitive. You know, I think the tailback spot this year in Wisconsin and Minnesota were extremely competitive. You know, we signed Mr. Football out of the state of Minnesota, and probably would have signed Mr. Football out of the state of Wisconsin had he not got injured. So we feel really good about those two guys coming in, and again, at this point right now, these guys are all they're all potential for us. You know, guys that are going to push our upperclassmen immediately for us for playing time.
How was Noah's first full year of recruiting? Did you change a focus, or is it kind of the same old message that he's going to just have a few new wrinkles on the recruiting trail?
As far as schematics, or as far as
the type of player he wants to recruit, the type of player that's going to fit what he wants to do here in the short-term future?
yeah, I don't know if we change. You know, we're still looking for athletic quarterbacks. We're looking for guys on the perimeter that can move and probably play in multiple positions. Offensive linemen, you know, generally we've recruited bigger, leaner offensive linemen that can develop, and I think we feel good about that class on the offensive side. So I don't necessarily think things have changed as far as our direction and our focus athletically and what we're looking for on the offensive side.
Are you excited for his sophomore season, so to speak, with a lot of new, big changes on the offensive side?
Well, our expectation is it'll be better than his freshman season, and that's going to be tough to beat. So obviously, Coach Pauly had a really good season this year on the offense side, and again today, Coach Pauly had a really good job, you know, securing recruits in Southern Wisconsin for us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.